What is happening, my beautiful people? So, I have decided and debated with myself about what I want to talk about in this video. What I want to say and how I want to say it, but I'll let you guys know right now, this is going to be a little bit of a all over the place video. I will make points and then, do a different point and then come back to that point. I really want to just share my thoughts. This is going to be a little bit of a long video. I don't know how long, but it's going to be longer than usual. So first and foremost, you can see from the title, it's my thoughts on the WWE's new era. Now, the new era started officially with, of course, the brand extension with Raw and SmackDown, separating the brands finally again and becoming two separate entities and two separate shows. Now, I personally love that because that's how I got into wrestling in the Ruthless Aggression era. There was Raw, there was SmackDown. I love that stuff, and I think that both brands are very different, very unique, with very different rosters, with very different styles of producing their shows, and for me, this is me personally, as a show, as a full experience, SmackDown flows a lot better. It flows a hell of a lot better, and it knows how to utilize everything that they have to their advantage. Now, with that being said, in order for SmackDown to be what it was, and people that jump like, oh man, SmackDown's boring, this and that, you have to understand, in order for it to be what it can be, it takes a few months to take those seeds and let them grow. They've established all the seeds now leading into Backlash. By the way, pay-per-view prediction already done and will be uploaded later today. Cheap plug, like Daniel Bryan last night at SmackDown. Those seeds are already planted, and give it another month or so, like after No Mercy or even leading into No Mercy, I promise you, a week in and week out basis, SmackDown's going to be amazing because they have now established their women's and tag division. It's established. We know they have it, and it's darn fucking good. They've utilized their main event and mid-cards just enough for you to know that they're there and that they are good, and they will get more time to shine after Backlash and especially after No Mercy leading into Survivor Series and so on and so on. You get the point. Now, when you go to Monday Night Raw, to me, this is what I have to say about Raw. It has spectacular moments. Okay, I get it. It's a 3-hour show and it is hard as fuck to write. But I don't want a fucking, don't get me wrong, I love the club. Hey, for life. Bullet Club for life. Okay? But look, that fucking segment on Monday Night Raw, and I'm not talking just this past week, I'm talking since the freaking brand split. That segment with Luke Gallows and Anderson and the old day, that was 20-some fucking minutes of non-commercial interruption TV that could have been utilized somewhere fucking else. It was horrible. It was draggy. Right? The fucking squash matches after squash matches after squash matches. There's 3 or maybe 4. Usually it's 2 or 3 2 good matches, 1 decent match, or 3 good matches, or whatever. This past Raw, they had 3 good matches. Other than that, and 1 promo, and 1 small segment with the women, there was nothing to talk about. Everything else was forgettable, and that's how Raw's been. Now, with that being said, I believe the Cruiserweights are going to be the saving grace, and I think Vince McMahon himself realized that, and I think Stephanie and Triple H have a lot to do with bringing the Cruiserweights out, because the Cruiserweight Classic is watched by 80%, almost 80% by the WWE Network subscribers on a weekly basis, plus people watching on streams and people watching on the internet. There's a huge fan base for the Cruiserweights, and people have been begging, including myself, begging for the Cruiserweights to be back and legitimate on the WWE roster, and especially guys like Tyson Kidd, Neville, Sin Cara, Kalisto. Obviously he's on SmackDown, but you know what I'm talking about, like guys like that who can't get a chance really to be a main event star can get to be a chance to be a big star in the Cruiserweight division, and they're bringing up a lot of guys from the Cruiserweight Classic, a lot of good talent. And what I really like about that is that there's going to be utilization of that talent. They're going to give them, 2 matches on Raw in a segment. They're going to have presence on Monday Night Raw and the Raw pay-per-views. You know what I mean? And if you're wondering, by the way, this is a news that came out. The Cruiserweights will be utilized on Monday Night Raw, on Raw pay-per-views, and of course, if a match gets built up to a Big 4, it will be utilized there, and will mostly be utilized not on tours with Monday Night Raw, but on the NXT tours around the world and around the United States, and on NXT taping. So they're all signed. They're all actually signed to the company, and there's going to be relatively none of them appearing on Raw live events unless it's a very big show. And I understand why they're doing that. I kind of get that, but that's just a quick fun fact for you. Anyways, back to the point. I digress. Monday Night Raw to me is just like, as I said, it has moments of this greatness, but as a full all-in-all show, it doesn't flow very well. It drags on a lot. It gives you those moments you're like, oh man, that was great, and it drags. And it has a squash match, and a squash match, and drag. And a good match, and a drag match, and a squash, and then a good match. It's just not that entertaining to me, as SmackDown is, because it's a 2-hour show, that can really capture your imagination, really capture your time, and really give you your time's worth. Now, with that being said, not necessarily every SmackDown is great. I'm not saying it drags, but there are fillers. Okay, it happens. It happens. Monday Night Raw has an hour of filler every goddamn week. Okay, and then another half an hour of bullshit. You get the point what I'm saying to you people. Now, also, I want to talk a little about NXT, Shinsuke Nakamura, the glorious Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, Hideo Itami, The Revival, everyone. I'm talking about everyone. I love NXT. From the bottom of my heart, I love NXT. There was a time, since the networks came out, that I didn't watch Raw or SmackDown on a week. I haven't watched SmackDown since the brand split in so freaking long. But you get the point. I didn't watch the main roster. I was just watching NXT. Because NXT was a great show. It was a great show. Like, I'm talking even before the network. I'm talking when they were on Hulu. You know what I mean? Like, with Neville and Bo Dallas and Tyler Breeze coming in. And, the beginning of NXT, like when Seth Rollins was champ and Big E was champ. Like the beginning of NXT, and it got better, consistently better and better. Now it's a global brand, of course. As an hour show, barely. I'm talking barely. It's a 55-minute show, not even that sometimes, with limited commercial interruptions, of course, and those commercials are all WWE Network ads and ads for the WWE product, and they're very short, by the way. But for roughly an hour of a show, it keeps me fucking entertained, people. It keeps me entertained. Whether they have 2 matches and great segment, 3 matches, last week they had 4 matches, whatever it might be, it is a good show. It is a thought-out, booked-out show that delivers great matches, that delivers great rivalries, and builds up the stars of the next generation and the future. And that's great. And I love that. And their takeovers are can't-miss events. Their takeovers are cannot-miss events. That is true. They're 3 hours now, rightfully so because of all the talent, and they are cannot-miss events. To me, NXT is one of those saving graces because you can really just tune in every Wednesday for an hour, other than it's after a big takeover because that's just a recap show. You can tune in and you can be entertained, man. You don't have to bitch and complain about anything being draggy. Everything makes sense. Everything is flowing well. New stars come in, they get a chance to shine. They're done properly. They have enhancement talents to show off their talent. You know what I mean? Like, there's everything that you want right there. It's right there in NXT. And that's great. And I love that. Going to the Cruiserweight Classic. Oh, and by the way, one thing I want to say about NXT, the talent they have brought in and are continuing to bring in and that will bring in to NXT and then back to the main roster is phenomenal. I mean, Triple H couldn't have done a better job, man. Paul, I really do tip my hat off to you and bowing down to the king because you really have changed the landscape of the world of professional wrestling, especially in America, and more importantly, you have changed the WWE for the better. For the better. I don't care what anyone says, he has changed. Paul Levesque, or however you want to pronounce his name, Levesque, has changed the world of professional wrestling and the WWE landscape for the better, in my personal opinion. Going to the Cruiserweight Classic, which once again a thought of Triple H, and I mean, it has been great. It's been fan-freaking-tastic. I can't wait for the last quarterfinal, then the semifinal and finale all in one night live on the WWE Network next Wednesday, September 14th, I believe. Cheap plug right there for you for just $9.99 a month. And I'll talk about the network in a bit. But the Cruiserweight Classic has been great, man. That's coming back to Raw and then bringing in the Cruiserweight guys. They have showed that they can outperform anyone on any given night, no matter their weight class. They are phenomenal athletes, phenomenal wrestlers that know what they're doing in that squared circle, and they know how to captivate a crowd. Now, it will take a few weeks for all of those guys to be known and recognized by the WWE Universe, obviously, because don't forget, the network is only bought by what? 1.6 million people worldwide, 1.1 some of which are in America. So and then Raw's watched by 3.5 million people live, plus around 3.8, 3.9 if you include DVR ratings. It's nearly a 4 million show on a weekly basis, and most of those people, and believe it or not, most of those people don't have the network on a consistent basis. So they don't know who these guys are. So it will take a few weeks. So I don't want all the marks, going out there and be like, oh my God, people don't know what they're talking about. Give them a few weeks and they will fall in love with these guys just like we have. And that's great. That's great. But they have shown that they are the best and that they should be recognized, and that there is a place for the Cruiserweight division in the WWE and for it to be considered serious. Okay, and that's my honest opinion. And do not be surprised if eventually in the near future Raw's main evented by a Cruiserweight Championship match or by a Cruiserweight match, and then a big fight feel on a pay-per-view is because of the Cruiserweights. Don't be surprised. Really don't. They have incredible talent coming up, and they have already great talent like Neville and Sin Cara on the main roster of Monday Night Raw, and a few more people that can really add to that division. So that's just my honest opinion on that, including Enzo, by the way. My opinion on that. going forward, the WWE Network, in my opinion, the best subscription-based product you can buy right now in the world is the WWE Network. Okay, it really is. For a price of $10 a month of just $9.99, no commitment. You don't even have to pay with your credit card. You can go buy a gift card, literally a month. Like, you can buy a month or 3 or 6 months, pay with cash and have that card, and you can give it as a present, or you can use it yourself and you can go get the network. Okay, it is a freaking-tastic subscription base. It has every goddamn episode of Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, WCW Nitro, NWA, freaking ECW, all of the pay-per-views from ECW, WCW, WWE. Anything you goddamn want. 95% of the goddamn documentaries. It has incredible original content. Like, I'm talking anything you want, from the Edge and Christian show to WWE Camp to Ride Along to Swerved to Breaking Ground. I'm talking anything and everything. The 24 specials. It is insane. It is insane the amount of content Vincent K. McMahon is giving to us for a price of just $10 a month. Okay, and it is growing and growing. It is a consistent success, and rightfully so. Originally, people thought it was going to be horrible, and at first it was kind of draggy, and it had their problems. Now they're getting a lot better and better and better and better, and more people are subscribing on a consistent basis. And it's the growth, man. It's the growth of the WWE Network, and thankfully so. And now they're going to give us 19 pay-per-views, 19 to 20 pay-per-views a year. The big four being Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. Thank God they're making Survivor Series relevant again. Thank goodness gracious. Take a moment for just drink it in, man. You know what I'm saying? Because finally. Anyways, and they're bringing back 2 pay-per-views a month for one for Raw, one for SmackDown. And that's, in my opinion, how it should be done. Because if you remember back in the Ruthless Aggression era, they had, like, 1 month would be Raw, the other month would be SmackDown, then Raw, then SmackDown, then the Big Four. I didn't like that, because that didn't give a decent, there was nothing to build towards. Like, don't get me wrong, it made SmackDown really good, but what makes SmackDown even better is a build towards a pay-per-view. What makes Raw even better? A build towards a pay-per-view. Don't get me wrong, they have great matches on Raw and SmackDown when they don't have a pay-per-view for an entire month, or 2 months, excuse me. That's great. But what makes it that much better is building towards something, so that when you do watch a pay-per-view, you feel like you get that climax. You know what I'm saying? So to me, the fact that they have, Backlash and No Mercy and Hell in a Cell, Backlash, No Mercy, and TLC being a SmackDown pay-per-views, Clash of the Champions, Hell in a Cell, Roadblock being Raw pay-per-views, and next year we're going to get more pay-per-views, WCW names coming back, and WWE forum pay-per-views coming back, like No Way Out from what I understand, and Great American Bash, and from what I understand, next year Halloween Havoc. It's going to be incredible stuff, and what I like about that is that it gives me so much more for that price of $9.99. All of what I said, and now 2 pay-per-views a month. When there's a Big Four, an NXT takeover, and a freaking pay-per-view, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. By the way, not to mention NXT goes there, every week on the W Network. There's nothing you get. But not to mention all that stuff, there's just so much what I enjoy. All right, I'm a wrestling mark, man. I'll take it all, baby. I'll take it all, especially when it's good. Okay, because say what you want about Raw, say what you want about SmackDown, the pay-per-views consistently deliver because they're non-commercial interruptions. They're about the build, and they're built up to it, and they go through it, and you know that you're getting your money's worth when you watch a pay-per-view, especially now in today's day and age, which is great, by the way. I also want to talk about this. I, however, have one complaint about so many pay-per-views, and it's not necessarily. Let me rephrase this. It's not necessarily a complaint. It's kind of a thing where I would do it this way. I don't like when a pay-per-view has less than 4 weeks of build. I just don't. I'm an old school wrestling fan. I prefer it to have 4 to 5 weeks of build. Now, I know that can't be done for every pay-per-view, and I get that. I understand. To me, a pay-per-view is a little bit rushed when it's 3 weeks. It's a little bit rushed, and I believe that extra week of 4 weeks build-up gives a little bit more time to breathe and a little bit more build-up and hype. Now, don't get me wrong. I truly believe that the absolute minimum. I'm talking, we can't do anything. 3 weeks is the minimum. Like, you cannot give less than 3 weeks of build for a pay-per-view. It's horrible. You want to know why? I'll give you an example why. Hell in a Cell 2010, Hell in a Cell 2011. 2 weeks of build. Atrocious. Delete. Okay, I'm quoting Matt Hardy. Delete. Okay? Come on, Mika Mahan. Come on. You can't do that. And guess fucking what? After Survivor Series, 2 weeks later, we get that SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view TLC. 2 goddamn weeks. Now, Oh my god, I don't know what the hell fell down. I think that was one of my action figures. Yeah, it was the Flash. What's up? Anyways, as I was saying, I'd probably hit my table. I digress. Never happened, people. I do not understand why the hell you do that. Now, don't get me wrong. I get the fact that between No Mercy and Survivor Series, which is No Mercy is the SmackDown pay-per-view, and the next time the SmackDown people are going to be on pay-per-view is Survivor Series. There's I believe 6 or 7 weeks. I believe it's 6. I believe it's 6 weeks without a pay-per-view. I get that. I understand that. That's good. You build towards a big 4. I understand. But only 2 weeks after Survivor Series, their own pay-per-view for SmackDown, just 2 weeks later, that's a little bit screwed up. And it's TLC. It's tables, ladders, and chairs. Now, they could build that up properly if they don't have a world title match, for example, on Survivor Series, and they have the world champion in some kind of huge tag match, Survivor Series traditional tag team match. But most likely that won't happen. Most likely the world title will be defended at Survivor Series. I mean, it's the world title. You know what I mean? And then it has to be defended again 2 weeks later. And you know what I'm saying? Like 2 weeks to me is not enough time for the rivalry to breathe, to grow, to mold into what it can really be. And to me, that's a little bit disappointing. Now, with that being said, hopefully I am so wrong and it delivers and it's great. You never know. I pray to Lord that I eat my words. Okay? Continuing on to the product. Now, I have to talk about this because I am a huge wrestling fan. I have been surprised. I'm being completely real with you. Surprised by how much Vince McMahon is changing the WWE. He understood. I think Vincent K. McMahon himself understood he needed to change something. He needed to change something because SmackDown was barely being watched by 2 million people. Now consistently by 2.8, 2.9 million. Which is a huge increase. 800,000 to 900,000 people is a huge increase. Like nearly, and if you're talking DVR, there's over 1 million people increase for SmackDown. That's great. That's fantastic. You know what I'm saying? And then, so Raw's kept the ratings kind of up and down, so they're there. Excuse me. Vince McMahon realized, okay, people want 2 different stages. They want 2 different looks. I'll give you that. I'll make it look modern, make it look nice. I'll give you that. I'll give you a stage for Raw, a stage for SmackDown, and I'll give you that. People want new theme songs. I'll give you that. People want a brand split. I'll give you that. People want this. I'll give you that. He understands. Vincent K. McMahon, I don't know why it took him so long a little bit to hear it. Maybe because he was making so much money because there was no competition, still not in competition. But to me, if there is no competition, I'm talking to myself, you create competition. And how do you create competition? By splitting the brands. Split the brands. And that's exactly what he did. And then people kind of bitch about, why are they just calling the Raw Women's title, the SmackDown Women's title, the Raw Tag Team Championships, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships? Why? Because 2 separate brands. Okay? I get that I would want to see the World Tag Team Championships and the WWE Tag Team Championships, but that's not going to happen because they're 2 separate brands. Thank God that the World titles are called the Raw Championships and the SmackDown Championships. At least those are called normally, and the mid-card titles are normal, even though the World title and the Universal title look exactly the same. And we're not talking about that. We'll talk about them in a sec. But I believe that Vince K. McMahon is doing the right thing about listening to Triple H, listening to Stephanie, listening to the fans about freaking time, and giving people opportunity like Kevin freaking Owens, which leads into my next topic. The absolute land of opportunity and the land that anything can happen on any given night in the WWE. If you would have told me 3.5, 4 years ago that AJ Styles would be in the main event of a pay-per-view for the world title, and it has a good chance of winning. And more importantly, you told me that Kevin goddamn Steen, Mr. Wrestling, was going to be the face of Monday Night Raw and the world champion on Monday Night Raw, I would have said you were lying. I would have said, whatever you're fucking smoking, you better pass that shit because I need some of that. Okay? Holy shit, when he won, I wished I recorded my reaction because I nearly fainted. I have loved Kevin Steen since 2008. Ever since I laid my eyes on him, especially when his, tag team partnership with El Generico, aka Sami Zayn, led into their rivalry, I was just going crazy. And then he came back at Best in the World 2011, became a heel, and then that started the whole scum thing later on. He's just a phenomenal performer. And I always said that he might not have the look, but he has it, to quote Jericho. He has it, okay? And when he got signed to NXT, I couldn't believe it. 2 months later, he was NXT champion. I couldn't believe it. Not much longer, he was in the main roster, and in his first night on a pay-per-view or network special, He beat John Cena cleanly. Cleanly. Okay, sure, he may have lost him the next 2 times, but I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Kevin Steen did that. I couldn't believe it. He came in, won the Intercontinental title. Couldn't believe it. Lost it, won it again. Couldn't believe it. He performed in front of the biggest WrestleMania crowd ever. Bullshit. I would have called bullshit if you would have told me that. Okay? Went out there, stole the fucking show in that match. You know, he has outperformed and out-wrestled every person he has been in the ring with. He has made people shine like Roman Reigns. He has destroyed people. He is everything you want. The way that him and Jericho flows together as a tag team is fantastic. It's hysterical. It's on point. And then you look at him, and he is everything you want your champion to be. Untouchable on the microphone. Absolutely untouchable on the microphone. Okay, he doesn't need a script. He doesn't need nothing. You tell him, hey man, we need a promo about this. He'll go out there and he'll make it the best thing. He made the people hate him when they wanted to cheer him in Kansas City. Okay, he made them hate him. Okay. He looks like a champion. What I mean by that, what I mean by that is that he is an average-looking guy. I mean, yeah, he's big arms, big shoulders. You know what I'm saying? He's has a belly and everything, sure, but that doesn't stop him from being this unique enigma in that ring, because he can do whatever you want, man. He can do any style, technical, high-flying, man. You know, he can do a luchador style if you ask him to. He can do a goddamn mat wrestling. He can do, a Phenom style base wrestling. He can do a Triple H style match. He can do a Dolph Ziggler style match. He can do whatever the fuck you want, but get this, he's Kevin Owens. He doesn't have to be any of those men. He can, if you ask him to, but he is Kevin Owens, and his style is so goddamn unique. And the fact that he is the Universal Champion, still the stupidest fucking name ever, to me, just shows that Triple H, he's under Triple H's wing, and the backstage politics and all that stuff, this is Triple H's guy. And I love the fact that Triple H himself, I mean, come on, he's a wrestling god, realizes what Kevin Owens brings to the table. If you build him properly, as a heel, or baby, whatever you decide, but right now he's a heel, he can be the best thing going on Monday Night Raw. Okay? It's the Kevin Owens show. It's the Kevin Owens show. He is over with the crowd, no matter if he's a heel. People love him. Okay, because of everything I just said. He sells merchandise like crazy. Like crazy. Okay, this guy is the top 10 merchandise seller in the WWE. Crazy merchandise sales. Okay, he has the walk, he has the talk, the theme music, the wrestling gear, you know what I'm saying? And more importantly, he is a prize fighter for his family. He is doing this not for anyone else, but for his family. He wants to provide for his wife and for his children, and that's what he's doing. I cannot wait to when he gets that new fat contract so he can move them into a beautiful new house and get them anything they want. People say, oh, he got the title less than 2 years coming into the industry, and that's into the business, and that's including NXT. Yeah, well, guess fucking what? That just proves to show that he is that darn good. He's paid his dues. He's paid his dues. He wrestled in front of 250 people for $500 to go through barbed wires, to go through glass, sheer freaking glass, and to be hit by chairs with barbed wire right into the goddamn head. No hand in front to block the impact. I'm talking, you see the scars on this dude's back and body, man. This guy has been through it all. He has paid his dues. All right. He was. I remember this because I have the DVD. He was interviewing the Young Bucks, okay, after the Ring of Honor show on a Friday on WrestleMania 29 weekend in New York, and in a little hotel room, all right, that's so he can make an extra $100, an extra $150 or $200 for his family. Okay, what I mean? This guy has done it fucking all, people, and he deserves everything that he has gotten and everything that has gotten to him, and everything that's going to be given to him, excuse me. He deserves it, all right? So that's that. But going forward, oh man, I love wrestling. And I love the fact that I live in a day and age where I can have so much wrestling from the WWE and be so different. Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Pay-per-views for Raw, SmackDown, takeovers for NXT. Big Four. It's just great. It's great. So, as I said, this video is going to be all over the place. I just want to say thank you to the WWE for finally giving me product that I can watch on a weekly basis and enjoy. I'm talking right now, 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, Talking Smack, which is a great show, by the way. NXT, Cruiserweight Classic, then Cruiserweight Classic against, fine. Just so much. I can spend money on great freaking merchandise of people that I actually genuinely love, and the people that are over, and people that I enjoy listening to, and people that I enjoy watching. I mean, it's so goddamn great, and I haven't felt this good about professional wrestling in so long. I'm not talking just about a certain aspect of the show, a certain guy or a certain two guys or three guys. I'm talking about the entire goddamn product. All right, I'm talking about just here you go. Sure, Raw has its has its major flaws, but it's still will get better, and that's why you watch and you wait for it to get better, and then when it gets better, it's just so much more relieving. And it's just the fact that I can get 7 hours. I'm talking, 6 hours, 7 hours right now with the Cruiserweight Classic, but 6 hours on a consistent week in, week out basis of WWE programming. Then there are more with takeovers and pay-per-views, but you get the point. On a consistent basis, I can sit down for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and be entertained by the WWE and their product. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want your thoughts and opinion in the comment section below. Let your boy know. Let's have a conversation about it. I do not apologize for this long video because I enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed my video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Really do appreciate that as well. Hope you have a wonderful day and stay tuned for the Backlash prediction video. Peace out, guys.